Okay, yeah, no, because it's Saturday morning, we're going to start in constructive rest because it's really my favorite way to go. So come down onto your mat on your back. And if you don't like constructive rest, if it doesn't feel good to your body, any other position of the body that just kind of lets you soften and settle in. So if you find constructive rest doesn't offer you the benefits that I enjoy, you can always rearrange your body in a way that works best for you. But if you like constructive rest, feet nice and wide, knees dropped in towards each other, arms out in a position that feels comfortable, and then just give your body a minute to settle into that shape. And then as you start to find that settling in situation, your tailbone, your butt's in a comfortable position, your legs are supporting each other if you opted to let the knees drop in, feet are in a good and happy position. Now, can you notice your abdomen or the soft tissue of your abdomen? So think about that, the space in the front of the belly that isn't protected by a bony structure. So if you can kind of get a sense, and if it helps you find your way there, bring your hands to that space. But we just kind of want to tune into that soft tissue area. And then notice if you're holding any tension there or slightly engaging the muscles in your abdomen. And if you are, see if you can just kind of let go. So let your belly be a little soft. And then if you can find that softness in the belly, then just take a nice deep breath and think breath into the lungs. So we're filling up the lungs within the rib cage. So let the belly move with the breath, but the breath is in that upper container. So think breath is in the ribs, but the belly moves with the breath. So can you take a nice generous inhale? Nice slow exhale. 2 more cycles of breath here, just allowing the belly to move with the breath, but the breath is in the lungs and the ribs. Awesome. And now moving our awareness away from the belly or the soft tissue of the belly. Now, can you take your right hand, reach across to the left side of the ribs, fan your fingers out nice and wide. So we're going to get a good spread on those ribs. Take a nice, generous inhale. Feel that gentle movement of breath in your ribs. Nice, slow breath out. One more breath, just paying attention to the movement of breath in the ribs. Release your right hand and then take your left hand, reach over and across to the right side of the ribs. So spread your fingers nice and wide, get a good wide handhold on the ribs. Take a big, generous inhale, fill the lungs up. And maybe you notice here how just adding that handhold or that connection there brought that awareness a little further up into the rib cage. So you might have noticed that the breath came in front to back and side to side. Great. And then release that left hand, both arms out, stay anatomical position, palms facing up to the ceiling, and then just bring that awareness back to the rib cage, front to back, side to side. Take a nice, big, generous inhale into your lungs. Nice, slow breath out. One more breath. Awesome. And then before we move away from this place of stillness, take a moment here to set an intention to honor your mind and your body throughout your practice, never doing anything that would cause your body pain, and treating yourself with love, care, and respect. With that intention set, bring your arms into those I Dream of Jeannie arms or the square across the chest. Take a couple of gentle pulls side to side. This is just to create a little bit of movement and space in the thoracic spine. So if you draw a line where the center of your box is straight down through the center of your body to the back side of the body, that's where we're trying to create that little sense of space. So we're pulling the elbow side to side, works across the midline of the body. So we get both halves of our brain involved and we move a little space into the back of the body. Take one more pull gently side to side. And then when you're ready, we're going to release the arms down alongside the hips and toe heel the feet in so that they're about hip width distance apart. So now you're going to move the knees away from each other so that the knee bones line up with the hip points. And then once you're there, we're going to move right into pelvic tilt. Start with the normal breath pattern that we usually do. Exhale as you press the low back into the ground. Inhale, release to the natural curve of your back. Exhale, press your low back down. Inhale, release. One more time like that. Exhale, press your low back down. Inhale, release. We're going to lift the knees up, pull them gently into the chest. Take a gentle rock side to side. One more little rock side to side, and then we're going to set those feet back down, back to pelvic tilt, but now we're going to reverse the breath. So in a neutral spine, take an inhale. And then start to move with your breath. Inhale as you press the low back into the ground. Exhale as you release to the natural curve of your back. Inhale, press your low back into the ground. Exhale, release to the natural curve of your back. Inhale, press your low back down. Exhale to release. Two more just like that so you can find that rhythm of breath. And then once you've completed those breaths, pull the knees back up into your chest, take a gentle rock side to side. And then from here, one more little rock side to side, we're going to move right into wind relieving pose. So hold on to your right knee, left leg is going to go nice and long, and then switch. Moving with the breath if you like. So we inhale to switch and exhale to gently draw the knee into the chest. You can let the heel hover, or you can let the heel touch down to the ground, just whatever feels better to you here. So heel touching down to the ground does create that extra sense of length right through the front of the hip. So if you need that little bit of extra work to find that length through the front of the hip, especially if you sit in a chair a lot, that might be a nice sensation to let that heel touch down and then switch. Take one more time each side. And then pulling both knees back up towards the chest, but now re-grab the backs of the thighs, and we're going to start a little gentle rock and roll. So working tailbone towards the tip of the head, and then we're just going to massage the length of the spine, take one or two more rocks forward and back, and then when you're ready, rock and roll all the way up, and we're going to take it right into an easy seat. So come to a comfortable seated position, and then as you come up, just give a second, let everything find its way, and then once you feel like you're there, right hand's going to touch down, left hand reaches up. We're going to take 3 side bends light, and then 1 we're going to stick with. So lift up through that top hand, lean over just a little bit, and then come back up, lean over just a little bit, and come back up. Do that one more time. Lean over just a little bit, come back up, and now go to your depth that feels really good. So you might choose to extend your bottom arm out a little bit further, but we want to see if we can keep our sits bones kind of anchored into the ground. And then once you feel like you've got a nice side stretch and you're feeling your breath in the side of your ribs, think about pulling the top thumb back just slightly, turn your head, look up to the sky, take a nice big breath. Awesome. And then when you're ready, left hand's going to touch down, right hand's going to reach up. Take a gentle side bend and then come right back up. A gentle side bend and lift right back up. Do that one more time. A gentle side bend, lift right back up, and then take it to your edge. Go as far as feels good to you, trying to keep the sits bones anchored. And then once you feel like you've got that big opening through the side of the body, you can feel the breath in the side of your ribs. Pull the top thumb back. Maybe look up to the sky, take a nice big breath. Awesome. And then when you're ready, lift up, and we're going to take a light rotation. So we're going to twist to the right, but we're going to keep our heart pointing towards our knee. And then once you've got that light rotation, into a cat-cow here. Inhale, lift your chest, lift your chin, arch your back. Exhale, round your back, pull the abdominal muscles and tuck your chin towards your chest. Beautiful. Inhale, lift your chest, lift your chin. Exhale to round your back. One more just like that. Inhale to lift. Exhale to round. Inhale to a neutral spine, and we're going to take that light version of a twist to the other side. So the right hand's going to find the left knee, but the heart's going to stay pointing towards the knee. Once you've got that going on, back to that cat-cow. Inhale to lift your chest. Exhale to round. 2 more cycles of breath. Just move with your breath's rhythm. And then as you inhale to your neutral spine, come back to center. And now we're going to come to center and reverse the breath. So inhale with a neutral spine. Exhale, lift the chest, arch the back. Inhale, round the back, pull the abdominal muscles around the shoulder, tuck chin in. Beautiful. Exhale to lift. Inhale to round. One more time. Exhale, lift. Inhale, round. Come to a neutral spine. Draw the shoulder blades down just a little bit. So we want to just drop those shoulders away from the ears and then drop your right ear over to the right shoulder. If it feels good to do so, close your eyes down for just a moment. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. And now we're going to roll the chin across the chest. So roll the chin down, taking the left ear over to the left shoulder. Stay there for a moment. Shoulders are soft and heavy. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Roll your chin back down to your chest, but keep it there, and then just make a couple little figure eights. So just a gentle roll of the head side to side. Nice. One more rock of the head side to side, and then bring your head to a neutral position, and then we're going to find our way into a tabletop. So come up in any way that works good for you. You can flippity do your way up or come up in any other way that suits your body. And then if you like to cushion your knees or cushion your wrists, take a second to do that. But then once you find your way into your tabletop position, we're going to slide the right leg back, toes curled under, push gently back into the heel, and then pause. Take a nice deep breath in. Notice your calf muscle. Notice the back of your knee and the back of your leg. Awesome. And then when you're ready, release, slide that leg in, and we're going to take it right to the other side. So left leg is going to slide back, toes curled under, push back into the heel, stay there. Notice the back of your calf, the back of your knee, the back of your leg. Beautiful. Bring it back in. And now we're going to come back to the right leg, but right leg and left hand are going to slide out. So we're going to keep the spine in a fairly neutral position, slide the fingertip and the toe out, bring it right back in, and we're going to switch over to the other side. So left leg, right hand are going to slide out. Keep the toe on the ground for just a moment, just to feel that connection point. Slide it back in, and now we're going to go a little further. Left hand, right leg are going to slide out and then lift, but everything else stays as neutral as it can. So there's not a lot of movement in the spine, the head, or the neck of the shoulders. Release that down, and we're going to switch right to the other side. Left leg, right hand are going to slide out. Lift up with control. Awesome. And release it down. One more time each side. So left hand, right leg are going to slide out. You might choose to stay on the ground or lift up if you've got the control. And then when you're ready, release, switch to the other side. Left leg, right hand are going to slide out. You might choose to stay on the ground or lift up. Beautiful. And then release it right back down. Big toes together, knees to the outer edges of your mat. Come to extended child's pose. Pull your butt back toward your heels. Create some space, and then just let your belly, your chest, your forehead melt down, and take 3 nice deep breaths. On your next inhale, when you're ready, lift back up, curl your toes under. We're going to exhale up to a downward facing dog, and then start to take a few petals of the legs, bending one knee and pressing in the opposite heel. And then you might choose to rearrange the placement of your feet if it feels like coming through to down dog from that wider knee position just makes your feet be in an awkward position. So rearrange things always as needed so your body feels really comfortable. Take one more petal of each leg. And then when you're ready, look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands. We're going to come to a nice ragdoll fold, super generous bend in your knees, a little bit more than you even normally do. So we feel almost like you're trying to drop your butt down to the ground. And then we're going to start to bounce. So bounce your butt just a little bit. So we get this nice little light bounce in the knees. Let your head be sort of heavy. So you're looking down to the floor, not looking up or forward if you can arrange it. Bounce your knees, take 1 or 2 more good bounces of those knees, and then let that bouncing come to stillness. Soften the back of your neck. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out, and then keep those knees super generously bent. Pull your abdominal muscles in. Roll up to a standing position, slow and controlled. And then as you come right up to that standing position, we're going to come right back to that bounce. So we're going to bounce the heels, bringing that bounce and vibration into the body. Bouncing, super good for our lymphatic system. So it helps support the immune system because lymphatic fluid doesn't move all of its own. So exercise, movement, and bounce is one of the funnest ways to get there. So we just kind of bounce, bring that vibration into the body. And then once you've got that pop of the heels going on, maybe bring a little shake your vibration into the arms. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your wrist. Notice that bit of vibration in your breath. Take one more moment of bounce. And then when you're ready, let that come to stillness. Right hand's going to touch down, left hand's going to reach up. Take a side bend over to the right. Draw that top thumb back, gaze up towards the sky. Take a nice big breath. Beautiful. Lift up with control. Left hand down, right hand reaches up, lean over to the left. Draw that top thumb back, gaze up towards the ceiling. Take a nice big breath. Nice, lift up with control, both hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, draw the knuckles down, squeeze between the shoulder blades, and then lift the arms slightly away from the back of the body so you feel that opening through the chest and the collarbones. Gently lift your chin up towards the sky. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. And then when you're ready, release. Release your hands, unlace your fingers, give everything a little shake, a little wiggle just so it feels good, and then find your mountain pose at the top of your mat. Anchor into your feet. Lift up through the top of your head. When you feel ready, inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, stepping the right leg back. We're going to come through a runner's lunge up into a crescent lunge, but check your balance first. So lift your fingertips away from the floor. If it feels available and your legs are feeling stable and strong, lift the arms up. But from this crescent lunge, we're going to open up into a warrior two. So the back heel is going to pivot. The hips are going to rotate out to the side. Arms are going to open up wide. Beautiful. And now we're going to straighten the front leg, turn both toes to the side of the mat and take it into a wide leg fold. So think hip hinge. We're going to bend from the waist, lean the heart forward, let your hands come down to the ground. Plant your palms and then inhale to a sort of half lift. So lift through the chest, gaze forward. Exhale to soften down. Now we're going to take a little bend side to side. So bend one knee and then the other. Beautiful. One more bend side to side. And then as you come back to the center, super generous bend of the knees, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll all the way up to a 5-pointed star. So we're going to pull energy up through the feet, up through the legs, up through the arms, reach out and then shine nice and bright. Feel that nice energy all the way out through the fingertips. Take one good breath. Now we're going to turn the left toes to the front of the mat, bend that left knee back to that warrior two position. Beautiful. And then we're going to cartwheel the hands down to the ground. So pivot your back heel, spin your hands down to the ground, plant your palms, step back to a plank. Right away, bring your knees down, lower with control onto your belly. One low cobra here. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale to lower down. Push your way up to a tabletop position and all the way back to child's pose or extended child's pose, whichever you like better. So big toes together, knees together, or big toes together with knees wide. That's totally up to you, but settle back into your shape and then just take a nice big breath. On your next inhale, lift up into your tabletop. Exhale and find your way up to downward facing dog. Look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to a nice soft ragdoll fold at the top of the mat. So knees generously bent, heavy in the butt, and then come back to that bounce for a second. Bounce your bum just a little bit, only if this feels good. If the bouncing does not feel good to you, leave it off. You can just stay in that folded position, but if that bounce feels good, take one more moment. And then let the bouncing come to stillness, big generous bend in the knees, pull the abdominal muscles in, roll up to your standing position, roll your shoulders down and back. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, left leg back. We're coming through that crescent lunge. So we step the left leg back, lift the fingertips up, find your stability first. If it feels good, float the arms up. And then from here, we rotate out to the side. So we pivot the back heel, hips rotate out, arms rotate out. Take a moment to find that warrior two. And then when you're ready, straighten the front leg, turn both toes out to the side of the mat. And then from here, we're going to hip hinge. So hinge from your waist, fold down to the ground, let your hands find the ground, and then come back to that nice little lunging position side to side. You bend your knees as much as feels good to you. And you might also choose to externally rotate the feet just a little bit if that feels better for the hips. Lovely. One more little bend side to side. And then as you come back to center, bend your knees, pull the abdominal muscles in, roll up to that 5-pointed star, lift energy up from the soles of the feet, up and out through the fingertips, shine nice and bright. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, turn the right toes forward, float through that warrior two, bend that front knee, gaze forward. And now we're going to spin the hands down to the ground, pivot your back heel so you come through runner's lunge. Lovely. Plant the palms, step back to plank. Right away, bring the knees down, lower with control onto your belly. As you come down onto your belly this time, take a second to kind of wiggle out your shoulders, shake out your bum. We're going to bend both knees and swish the heels a little side to side. So this offers a little soothing to the low back and a gentle massage to the quadricep muscles. So if you're tuning in and noticing, maybe you just feel the tops of your thighs kind of rolling across the floor. One more little rock of the heels side to side, and then we're going to keep the right knee bent, but let the left toes go long. See if you can reach back and catch hold of that right foot, gently hugging the heel in toward your bum. Start by just softening the quadricep muscles, allowing a little gentle stretch. Take one nice big breath. Awesome. And then we're going to add just a light bit of strength maneuver in. So we're going to get a firm handhold. Push your foot into your hand so you feel the quadricep muscles, the tops of the thighs fire up. Notice that strength in your leg. Notice the strength in your hand to hold that position. Take one more moment. And then relax the quadricep muscles again. Gently draw the heel in toward your butt. Take a nice big breath. Beautiful. And then release your handhold. Float that foot down to the ground. We're going to switch to the other side. So left heel is going to hug in towards your butt. If you can catch hold of that foot, cool. Once you've got your handhold, hug the heel in toward your butt, heart forward, look forward, take a breath. And then add that touch of strength in. So firm handhold, push your foot into your hand, feel the tops of your thighs fire up. Beautiful. And then relax that position, soften, gently draw the heel in. And then with control, release your handhold, float that foot down. We're going to push our way up through tabletop, back to your version of child's pose you like best. So knees together or knees wide, totally up to you. Bringing your bum back to your heels, soften into that position for a moment. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Inhale up to a tabletop position. Curl your toes under, exhale up to downward facing dog. Look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll on up to standing. We're going to take the left hand behind the back and catch hold of the right elbow pit. So we're going to get a little handhold there. And then once you've got a handhold that works good for you, drop your left ear over to your left shoulder. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. One more cycle of breath. Gently lift your head up, release your handhold, and we're going to switch to the other side. So right hand's going to reach back, see if you can catch hold of that left elbow pit, or really whatever grab works for you. We just want to create a little space in the chest and the shoulders. And then once you've got a handhold that works good, drop your right ear over to your right shoulder. And just come back to your breath. Nice, generous inhale. Nice, slow exhale. Awesome. When you're ready, lift your head back to that neutral position. Now, can you take both hands and we're going to see if we can just get a little handhold around the backside of the ribs. So locate the backs of the ribs with whatever handhold works good for you. So some of our shoulder variations might make this a little bit challenging. So do the best you can just to find a feel the backs of the ribs to the best of your ability. And then once you feel like you've got the sense of where your back ribs are, take a nice big breath in, fill your lungs up. Nice slow breath out. 2 more cycles of breath here, just tuning into that movement of breath in the back of the ribs. Beautiful. When you're ready, release your handhold, soften your knees, tuck your chin down to your chest, and then we're going to imagine we're peeling our back away from a wall. So we're going to tuck the chin down, rolling the back down towards the ground. And then once your fingertips find the ground, so you're going to bend your knees as much as it needs to get there, and then start to lower all the way down. So think little ball of yarn. Pick up your heels, roll down into that little ball, maybe pause there for a moment, keep the chin tucked to the chest, notice the breath in the back of your body. Awesome. And then we're going to sit back onto our butt. So come back nice and slow. We're going to keep a little bit of a bent knee position. One leg's going to be bent, one leg's going to be straight, but start by coming down elbows and forearms. So we want to give that little bit of support and then keep the left knee bent. Right leg is going to extend nice and long, a little flex in the foot. We're going to inhale and lift the foot up so that the knee comes in line with the left knee and then lower it back down with a bit of control. Beautiful. Inhale, lift the leg up. Exhale to lower down. One more on this side. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to lower down. Push the foot into the floor and see if you can drag the heel in. So a little pressure might drag your mat as well. So you might have to rearrange it. But then once you've got that foot down onto the ground, we're going to switch right to the other side. So left leg is going to extend out. Light flex in the foot or point the foot. We just want the foot to be a little bit active. Inhale, lift up, knee meets knee. Exhale and lower down. Beautiful. Inhale and lift up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Heel's going to touch the floor and then push into that heel and drag the heel in. Awesome. And then walk your hands or walk your elbows out nice and wide to lower yourself down onto the ground with a bit of control. Once you come down, just take a second, rearrange your shoulders, rearrange your tush, make sure everything feels good. We're going to move right into supine twist. So right knee is going to come into the chest. Left leg is going to extend long. Take that right knee over across the body. Open your right arm nice and wide. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Beautiful. When you're ready, pull the right knee back into the chest, bring the left knee into meet. So both knees are going to hug in and then hold on to your left knee. Right leg's going to go nice and long, supine twist to the other side. Left knee comes over and across the body. Arm opens wide, head turns to the left if it feels good. Beautiful. When you're ready, pull the left knee into the chest. Right knee is going to come into meet, and then we're going to butterfly the knees in circles. So we're going to take the knees out and away from each other, up towards the ceiling, and then hug them back into the chest, and then just smooth those circles out. Go a couple more times in this direction. And then when you're ready, reverse directions and go the other way. Great. From here, we're taking it right into single leg up the wall. So left foot's going to touch down, right leg's going to reach up to the sky. Once your left foot feels good and firmly planted, give your right leg a good gentle shake. One more good gentle shake of that leg. And then when you're ready, we're going to switch. Right leg's going to touch down, left leg is going to come up to the sky. Once that right leg is firmly planted, give your left leg a good shake. Lovely. And then when you're ready, set the left foot down and right into a figure four. So right leg is going to come across the left, externally rotate the knee, and we're not even going to do a lift here. So we're just going to bring the hand right to the inner thigh, gently push into the inner thigh, just to the point where you feel a little sensation. So you might feel sensation in like where your front pocket would be, or or right around the outer edge of your hip. So just kind of tune in, push into that inner thigh. Notice that space where your front pocket would be. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. And then when you're ready, release your hand, lift that leg off, and we're going to switch right to the other side. So left leg is going to come across the right. Get your figure four set up first. And then once you're there, left hand to that inner thigh, gently press open. So we're tuning in. Tensor fasciae lata is the technical name, but just I like to say front hip pocket area because it gives you a sense of where you might be feeling. So notice that front pocket area. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. And then when you're ready, release your hand, step that left foot off, step your feet out nice and wide, and take a few gentle windshield wipers here, soft and gentle, allowing a little time to just find a gentle range of motion that works good in your body, maybe increasing just a little bit of gumminess right up where those front pocket areas are. And then as you move here, just ask your body, where would be your best Shavasana? Would it feel good to come back to constructive rest and just let the knees drop in towards each other? Do you want a little bit more action for the hips? Take it into reclined cobbler's pose, or do you like that more traditional shape? If you're in a cold space or chilly room, take a second to put your sweater, your socks, your blanket, anything that makes you feel comfortable in your Shavasana. And then once you've got your props all set up, rearrange your body in a way that feels right to you. So we just want to come into a soft sense of stillness. And as you come back to that sense of stillness, or that place of stillness that makes sense to you, can you tune back into the soft place of your abdomen? Notice if you're engaging the muscles there, or if there's a slight bit of tension around the belly button. See if you can just kind of let go. So there's still action that happens in the belly. The abdominal muscles have to work to help you breathe and all those good things and support the organs. But we want to just let go of any extra tension that we might be holding there, so that that softness extends to the hips and to the back. Allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm. You always have the option to stay in your Shavasana as long as you like, or as much time as your body and your day allows. But if you feel called to do so, start to gently reawaken your body. Maybe turn your head softly side to side. Invite some gentle movement into your fingers and your toes. Invite a little bit of movement into your wrists and your ankles and any other parts of the body that like that soft, gentle reawakening. And then if it feels great to do so, maybe you take it into a big good morning stretch, stepping your feet long, reaching your arms up and overhead and taking a little bit of space back into your body and a nice big giant breath. Awesome. And then in your own way, at your own pace, find your way up to a comfortable seated position. So you might choose to rock and roll up, roll to one side, or any other way that gets you up that feels nice in your body. And then once you've found a comfortable seated position, just take a second. Find that nice, tall, comfortable seat. And we're going to take our left hand, reach across, and just put a firm handhold on the side of the neck. So don't choke yourself out, but just get a little bit of that skin and connective tissue trapped underneath your hand. And then once you feel like you've got a good handhold, gently turn your head side to side. And then the next time you turn your head so it's turned like it's into the hand, stay there and take a gentle nod of the head up and down. Awesome. And then let that come to stillness, come back to center, release that hand, and we're going to switch over to the other side. So get your handhold. We're finding a hold on the side of the neck, not choking yourself out, but just trapping that skin and connective tissue. And then once you feel like you've got a nice handhold, turn your head side to side. Beautiful. And then as your head turns into that hand or is looking in the direction of the hand that's holding on, stay there and add a gentle nod of the head up and down. One more nod up and down. And then return your head to center, release your handhold, stack both hands on top of your heart. Close your eyes down or soften your gaze. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Breathing in love and gratitude for yourself, for your mind, for your body, and for all of your hard work. Take another nice big inhale and think about letting your shoulders lift just slightly. And then as you exhale, shoulders soften, soften your jaw, and think about letting go of anything you're holding on to that won't serve you through the rest of your day. And then when you feel ready, gently lift up through the top of your head, gently open your eyes. I bow to you. Happy Saturday. You guys are amazing.